Hey guys, Ryan here with the programming for a week of April 22nd. Getting right to it with CrossFit. We were getting into the sequence of doing a deadlift, a press, or a front squat and a front squat every week. And as the weeks add up, we do more weight and less reps every time we do that in the strength portion. So we near the end of last week, we did deadlifts. We're starting this week with deadlifts, so it should look a little bit different with heavier weights and less reps in this sequence here. And then you're going to do light deadlifts in the workout, and it's more about breathing hard. You see this 9 rounds for time with light deadlifts, kind of light squats, not a whole lot of volume there either. The hard thing here for this workout is the elevated ring row, so we're going to really work on those pulling muscles, getting closer to doing pull-ups if that's a goal for you there. You will start to break up those ring rows. They will start to add up. If you've done them in workouts before, you know that, especially when you see the tough word there. But we don't want to break them up so much that we start to slow this workout down. This is going to be 9 rounds done in about 11 or 12 minutes there. So you want to keep moving through this. And then we got an extra credit there that's still got some cardio with it, with 200-meter runs every 90 seconds. So you want to make sure you're running those at a pace where you can repeat them, but give yourself rest in between as well. So maybe 200 meters is going to be too much for some people, or 10 rounds will be too much for some people every 90 seconds. So we may need to scale that a little bit, but plenty of options there with the extra credit for everybody to participate in that. Yeah. So on Monday for CVC that day, we've got a very balanced commitment workout that day. A chance to work on your push-ups and your pulling muscles there either. So you're either doing ring rows or you're doing renegade rows that day. You're either doing goblet squats or you're doing jump squats. And then the cleans would mimic the pattern of the deadlift. The difference here is the CrossFit workout is more about cardio. The commitment workout is more about power and speed. So you can pick your poison that day. On Tuesday, getting to the press sequence. Again, we saw that close to the end of last week, starting this week off with it, decreasing the reps. And then you're going into a partner workout. It's been a few weeks since we've done a partner workout in CrossFit. So this is a chance to get some longer distance rowing done between you and your partner. Basically, if you're not doing a plank or a dead hang hold, and it's your choice on which one you want to do from round to round, your partner can't be rowing. But once you're planking, your partner can be rowing. You can get closer to those listed goals there. So we know a 4K row takes about 17 to 20 minutes for most people. It's going to be interesting to see if we can't maybe do those faster as people swap in and out of the rowers and are able to maintain a higher pace during that time as they get some rest while they're doing the plank or the hold. Hold yourself accountable there. Make sure that your partner is not rowing if you're not actually holding a plank or hanging from the bars. Immediately following your row for time, you're going to figure out how to get your burpees done. Those are burpees over the rower. That's total between you and your partner. You guys can alternate. You can do 5 at a time, whatever you need to do to get to that total of burpees that's appropriate for you. We should still have some time for most classes. It will be tight, so not everybody will maybe be able to do all 4 rounds of this, but you can knock out some hammer curls and kickbacks as extra credit that day. If we don't have time, that's fine. You're going to get plenty of work in the workout, especially with the pressing, so you may not even want to do the kickbacks. With the skill acceleration time, though, instead of doing the extra credit, unless you're finishing up a class and you need that time to finish up your extra credit and have that option, you can do that. If you're going into class, you probably don't want to do those hammer curls and kickbacks before class. So it's going to be a chance to work on rowing technique. And so we have a lot of people that have been introduced to rowing, especially as we have the Back to Basics boot camp people that have graduated and the Fat Loss Challenge people in Fishersville that have seen the rowing a few times. This is a good time for you guys to really dial in some good rowing technique. And everybody probably starts to develop some bad habits when they're rowing, especially as CrossFitters, we tend to do that. This is a good way to start to break those bad habits and get to a better, more efficient pull there. For the CVC workout that day, so it's kind of like the same thing that happened on Monday and Tuesday, some overlapping movements between CrossFit and CVC. So you can do burpees in CrossFit, or you can do burpees that are broken down here in this vitality workout. You can row, or you can do a sumo deadlift tie pull, which is essentially stand-up rowing. You can do a plate walk, which is essentially the press out of a plank hold, but you're just holding a plate overhead. And you can do box overs, which is kind of like jumping over a rower. So there's lots of, this is kind of like CrossFit deconstructed for the vitality. Both of them are going to be good cardio workouts for that day. And both cash outs have hammer curls in them. More overlap between CrossFit and CVC, actually not CVC, but Fishersville and Stanton, because you're going to be doing on Wednesday the same workout in both locations. Super excited about this. We love this functional bodybuilding we've been doing in our CrossFit classes, and it's kind of like a twist on a CVC class. So we've seen this format in CrossFit a couple times now. It's every 90 seconds. You've got some work to do. In this case, you're going between back squats, windmills, weighted pull-ups, and kneeling presses. A lot of upper body stuff going on there, but the back squats are your chance to work on the lower body. The idea here with bodybuilding is that you're going to do these, and you get 4 times at each of these movements as you cycle through this to try to get heavier and heavier and heavier with it. And then there's some built-in work time and some built-in rest time. In Fishersville, also, we're going to work on the Turkish get-up with the skills acceleration. This is a chance to really dial in the key movements there. It's something we don't get to spend a whole lot of time with, so we're going to use that time to make sure people are doing a good alignment with their body when they're doing their Turkish get-ups. Or maybe you've seen the Turkish get-up for the first time or have no idea what I'm talking about. You'll get to practice that there in Fishersville. In Stanton, we're doing essentially the same workout. We don't have racks for back squats, so we're going to do heavy dumbbell rack squats with the dumbbell resting on our shoulders. Everything else is pretty much the same. We don't have a chance to do pull-ups in Stanton, so we're going to do ring rows and add a few more reps to everything to account for the difference in weight and pull-up bars there. But this will be fun. Everybody's doing the same workout that day. So Thursday now, CrossFit. This is a staple of level method programming. They love these AMRAPs that decrease in time and the movement patterns stay the same but change a little bit, so that as you build up your cardiovascular endurance, you get to maintain intensity with it as well. So looking to do 3 minutes or 3 rounds in a 6-minute AMRAP, only rest for a minute and do another 3 rounds in a 4-minute AMRAP. That's the goal that day. So it allows you to keep moving at that high aerobic capacity and then finish out with a run too. The way this workout's structured is going to allow plenty of time for us to have some fun with sled pulls as well in the CrossFit classes. Skills acceleration that day will be learning more kipping and how the kipping applies to the pull-ups. Thursday that day in CVC will be our confidence test. This is a confidence month. The last time we did this would have been the last month of January, if you want to go back and look what you did. So you're going to see how far can you row in 4 minutes? What kind of weight can you carry for 4 minutes and move up and down on that step? So we're looking at total tonnage of work done during this 4 minutes of work. Parasite, how many reps can you get in? How many push-ups can you get in those 4 minutes while traveling across the floor? And then how much work can you get done in 4 minutes with those 1-for-2 wall balls? For Friday, we've got front squats. So a few more reps than you're seeing in the other deadlift and press strength portions here, but we'll catch up with that and start to decrease in reps later on in the month with those front squats. And you're going to do more front squats in the workout and some type of pushing pattern that's similar to a push-up. I love the pyramid scheme, the 5, 10, 15, 10, 5. It allows the intensity to stay high and is a great strength building format as well. The twist on this workout is every minute you have to stop and do 5 toes to bar or knee raises or knees to elbows or something like that, at least for the first 10 minutes. Hopefully you're done in those 10 minutes, but if not, then after 10 minutes, you can do your last set of toes to bar and then just do whatever you need to finish up the front squats and the handstand push-ups. We've got some extra credit there to kind of work on body weight strength on the bars and on the rings. And then the skills acceleration time will be handstand progressions, and that's going to be dependent on who shows up to class that day, what's the appropriate progressions we're going to end up teaching to everybody. Vitality that day. This is one of those days where you get a great aerobic workout, but you get to also do some kind of interesting movements in the course of doing that. So the running man's pretty straightforward. It's going to get that heart rate up, and then you're going to maintain that high heart rate as you do a slam ball burden carry, basically carrying a very heavy weight and seeing with some pace if you can get back and forth down on up and down the gym that day with that heavy weight going from cone to cone essentially. Then going into a Cossack squat, great way to build lower body strength and mobility. And then the kettlebell halos are going to build some core strength and shoulder strength there. In the lift, we're doing working into some split jerk. So if you've never seen the split jerk before, you can be introduced to that, and then some other upper body accessory work as well. Our level method testing, 9 a.m. on Saturday, we will be doing our rowing test that day. 20 minutes of rowing. We may have some time to do flexibility tests as well. And then you've got some homework to do either before you row, if you're waiting for if you're in the second heat, or after you're rowing to cool you down. The Saturday commitment workout that day, bikes in Stanton, rowing in Fishersville. So that's pretty straightforward. Static efforts there. You know how to keep that intensity high, get into a 10 there. Another unique movement that I think is very functional though, going back to holding some slam balls, but in the goblet position, and basically you get to lunge on one side forward and backwards for the entire 30 seconds while holding that goblet hold. So it's going to put your body in an awkward position, but still allow you to work at a high intensity. I'm interested in actually trying that one out that day. Suitcase deadlift, straightforward, lifting heavy that day. The slasher, another way to build that core and shoulder strength as well. That is it. See you guys this week. Thanks.